Good morning, gamers. Welcome back. So our party of adventurers are still in Barovia. They're actually, they ended up at the Bonegrinder. So those of y'all that know Curse of Strahd, you know what's going on. So they have ended up at the Bonegrinder. That's right. I am the AMDM Lee. This is my cup of coffee, and you're watching BridgeWater Nights. That's some good coffee. So, the party is at the Bonegrinder. I've got the music playing from Sword Coast Soundscapes. Got that playing in the background. They've confronted Morgantha. We're not leaving here. Where are the kids? Blah, blah, blah. She's like, if you're not leaving, I'm calling my daughters. So she calls her daughters down. Having two teenage boys in the party, and my wife, who sometimes acts like a teenage boy, who's playing a male who's acting like a teenage boy, is like, boobs. Until they see what they're like, and then they're like, bags. My kids are a little more, we allow them to be a little more free with the role-playing in Dungeons & Dragons than we would normally. They wouldn't talk like that normally. But Dungeons & Dragons, right? So, they have their scuffle. You know, Eldritch Blast, stabby, 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 slice, 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 stabby, stabby. They're all focusing their attack on Morgantha, which is doing a ton of damage. So then the other ones do some stuff, magic missiles, and they're really not a whole lot of movement because if you look at the setup for the Bonegrinder, there's not a lot of space to move in this area. So they take down Morgantha. Well, in that process, Wormwiggle, I love names of hags, Wormwiggle heads back upstairs. The bard forces his way past Bella Sunbane, gets up there, attack of opportunity, which I miss, heads up, gets up into the stairs, doesn't see Wormwiggle, heads up to the attic, looks in there, doesn't see her. So that's where he stopped. So they killed that one, Morgantha. So Bella Sunbane, runs up into the room. Then followed by Vanique and Clay. They're up in the room. Terrid comes back down. Now, granted, there are 6 people in this party. There's Terrid, Vanique, Clay, Valhaldis, Ozzy, Osorin or Serene or something like that, and Desiree. Valhaldis, Desiree, and Ozzy could not come, so I ran it anyway. So they're out protecting Ismark and Irina. So they weren't in there. So they're fighting. They've got these hags. They think they did. They can't find them. They can't find the hags at all. So they proceed to, of course, loot the place. Because they think the hags have turned invisible and escaped out of a window or teleported or something. So they loot the place. They find some of the treasure. They find 3 kids. One of them is Lucian, who is a kid from Barovia. And they find Freak and Myrtle, who are wanting to stay who are wanting to get with Irina and Ismark. And they want to be gone in Barovia to meet up with Irina and Ismark, which of course are downstairs. So they're all these kids from Barovia, and now none of them want to go back to their parents because their parents traded them for dream pies. So the party tosses this. Well, and the kids were locked in crates. There were 3 crates. Top crate, middle crate had the girl, the bottom crate had the 2 boys in it. The top crate had a suit of plate mail armor. Now, those of y'all who keep up with all of my videos know what this plate mail armor is. It's the armor mimic. Well, that's right, the armor mimic. Great monster. And it's a really cool one. So Clay's like, I can wear a plate mail. And I'm like, all right, you touch it and it's warm. Then one of my kids goes, it's probably a mimic. Well, bastards. I like mimics. I've used them a few times. So it's probably a mimic. So I'm like, the other one, the oldest one, the one playing Tarot, goes, so it's going to take you about a round to put it on. And I'm like, oh no, this armor seems like it wants to be worn. It goes on in an action. And he's like, oh, that's messed up. There's something wrong here. It's a mimic, isn't it? And my wife, who's playing Clay, is like, is it a mimic? Am I wearing a mimic? So as they're heading back downstairs, I give them a perception roll, and they see the mimic grab a chunk of dead hag and eat it. So they're like ecstatic and kind of weirded out at the same time. And then I go through and describe what this is. And immediately the mimic has been named Clarence. And Clay is now wearing Clarence. Yeah. But the armor mimic is just a lot of cool stuff it can do. And it's basically like the symbiote suit, the black suit Spider-Man. They did mention, I wonder if you can use the adhesion to climb walls. So guys, what do y'all think I should rule on that? Could they use the adhesion to climb walls? Could a mimic use the adhesion to climb walls? Leave that in the comments below. But I will say that's probably the last magic item that Clay gets for a while. Or magic, anything that Clay gets for a while. So they leave that. They burn the Bonegrinder mill to the ground. They're like, screw it. If those hags come back, they're not coming back here. So they then leave. They come across a skeleton on a horse riding away from them towards Vallaki the same way they're going. So they decide to follow at a safe distance so they don't have to fight it. They go around the corner and there is a horde of zombies. I say a horde. There's 9 zombies which are heading in the other direction towards them. Once the zombies notice the party, the skeleton is aware of the party. It turns around and starts going towards them. That's when Clay calls off to his god, Xandus, and goes, I want them to go. Y'all all need to go. His tattoo flares up, which is his holy symbol, and a dragon mark. My world is a little bit different. Don't worry about it. It's okay. And out of the 11 undead creatures there, 2 of them made their saving throw. The other undeads off into the woods on either side. So they make quick short work of these 2 undead that are left and head to town. They try to convince the guard. It's late night. They try to convince the guards at the gate to let them in to Vallaki. The guards are like, no, you ain't coming in. It ain't happening. So the party then decides, all right, we're going to camp right here at the gate, and they'll let us in the morning. Now, granted, they don't know what happened to those hags. Yes, those night hags. So if you look right here, nightmare haunting, while on the ethereal plane, because a hag can enter the ethereal plane from the material plane, vice versa. To do so, the hag must have a heartstone in her possession. Guess what? She does. So now they're sleeping in Leoman's tiny hut. This is what they're gonna get. So I'm an evil, evil bastard. What can I say? So yeah, it's gonna be fun. All right, guys, that is all I've got for now. If you notice here, I've put my schedule right here. On Mondays, I talk about BridgeWater nights. On Wednesdays, I talk about how you want to brew this, which we deal with home brews that I find on D&D Beyond and possibly elsewhere. And then on the last day, which is right there on Fridays, it's Perception Check. And that is stuff I find anywhere on the internet that I think is cool, and I want to bring it forth and show it to you guys. All right. So that is all I have for now. If you like these videos, please click on the like button. If you think someone else would like them, please click on the share button. Every like's an inspiration. Every like's an inspiration, every share is an advantage, and every subscription is an experience point. Help me gain 300 experience points so I can get to 2nd level. And as always, the AMDM does hereby authorize you, the viewer, to gain 10 experience points for every video that you share. Just tell your DM the AMDM said so. That is all I have for now, so go forth and roll some dice.